Hurry up. Make sure I get this as the Twitch title. Damn it. It's gonna pop up as a notification. I'm trying to. Alright. We're about to start here with topic of today. It's gonna be exposing darkness here. Trying to expose the darkness. Because these things I can't even speak of. I can't even speak of this stuff. This stuff is so dark. I can't even describe how dark it is because it's that bad. I don't care who's watching, man. I can't force anybody to be here. I'm not buying my views. I'm not gonna. I don't care, man. It is what it is. And the day God's the giver of success. So, I don't know, man. I just love doing this. Genuinely, if I didn't love doing this, I wouldn't be here. I'd probably, I don't know. Man, I'm just. I know I gotta be in the moment. I gotta respect myself. No, was a perfect human being at the end of the day. I want this. What's going on? Bro, something in the way? What the heck? Something's off. Properties. There we go. Shit's supposed to be automatic. Guys, the Monday Jews are not Jews. It's been that way for like how long? Of course, I'm gonna get more deeper into that, study more on that. Let's look at Revelations 2, verse 9 in the KJV. I know that works. That is a message to Smyrna. I guess there's some church in the Middle East because it says Asia. So that's Northeast. That's Middle East. That's Western Asia. It is probably like first, second century. This is probably second century. Probably like after the apostles all got slaughtered and all that stuff. So there's the church like a little bit afterwards. That's what I'm assuming. Yeah, they're talking about the church now as a result of the disobedience of the Israelites, them getting exiled, all that stuff. Of course, what happened to Maccabees, first, second Maccabees, Roman Empire, just conquering Egypt and all sorts of places, and then basically Jerusalem becoming desolate. I mean, look at pictures of Jerusalem today. It's desolate, bro. They took down everything. If you read Maccabees, even says like this is ruins. Exactly what it is today. I know that works in tribulation, in poverty, but thou art rich. And I know blasphemy of them, which they say they are Jews, but are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Let's really think about this. I know that works. So what they do, tribulation. Now notice this is translated from the Greek. So tribulation. This could mean trouble. This could mean whatever. In poverty, but thou art rich. So we gotta dissect these words. Well, let's dissect these words real quick. I'm not like I don't know like too. I don't really know Greek like that. But everyone understand what this means. Feminine nouns is feminine. Oh my gosh. Trouble, afflict, narrow, suffer. So you know that trouble. So affliction. It's a noun, so it's to deal with someone. So you know their troubles. So you know their works, you know their troubles. and poverty, Chea, and they became and becoming poor. Thou art its phrase. Yeah, 29 on the verses. That says thou art. Kind of like a transition word in a sense. Yeah, A, E, I. But have been. So it means have been. Rich, Pelusios, seems part of adjective, so it's an action. So they have riches. Blasphemy of which they say they are Jews, but are not, but the synagogue of Satan. So you see it right there. You see it right there. These are probably the people that, you know, fought against the Israelites, took over their lands, and they're calling themselves Jews, but they're not. So I guess this refers to the Gentiles. They call themselves Jews, but they're not. I want to really look deep into that. You know what I'm saying? What's happening today, man? Israel. Guys, just look at the flag, guys. Look, come on, bro. You really think those are the real Jews? No, they're not, bro. No, they are not. And I haven't been on this website in a while, but here's time to expose some more darkness here. Even I'm a little bit uncomfortable doing this, but I feel like I gotta talk about this because there's a problem. This has been bothering me for days, weeks. And it's like, it just bothers me, man. And we're gonna talk about Fortnite too. We're gonna talk about why that game is very demonic and, you know, the microtransactions. Oh my, the you see, like it's so evil, bro. You can't even you don't even want to talk about it. But I gotta talk about it, man. Sacrificing my comfort to talk about this. Yeah, there's the Ashken Ninja. Something went wrong for you. What the heck is going on? Anyways, let's look at that Epstein files. Yeah, something's not working. Fuck's going on? Just reload this shit. It's always a roadblock, bro. Because the enemy doesn't want the truth to come out. You see? Oh, always a roadblock. So, chat, you either gotta treat this as a stepping stone or as a fucking obstacle. So either the world creates obstacles for you or you create obstacles for them. You gotta be the obstacle. You gotta be in their way. You gotta be willing to be sacrificial. To not be in fear. But the devil just perverts stuff, bro. Sacrifice is truthfully giving yourself to God. Because now we are the temples of the Holy Spirit for great things. Not just success and money. That's something that God gives to us. And that's to do for our hard works of faith. Don't let this world twist your understanding of things. Notice how it's not loading. That's never happened before. The one time I go into here, it doesn't load. Okay, what about YouTube? Because I want to see if there's an ongoing problem. Now, YouTube loads perfectly, bro. What about Instagram? If Instagram works, then that's how I know. And besides, I mean, Elon Musk is that demon is the one that's running X, so again, no surprise. You see, this works perfectly. Guys, there's a reason why, man. Now, you could say a lot of people on Twitter. Yeah, that too, I guess. Okay, if I go into here, it is disturbing. Yeah, I can't tell if some of these things are AI or not. Wait, what? What is this? I don't even want to click these videos. The way is over, blah, blah, blah. What's going on? Down's pages remain heavily redacted, and the lawmakers are calling a violation of federal law. Okay, it's AI. That's what I was thinking. Try not to unfollow. What? Yeah, Twitter is just full of shit. You're still gonna get it, but they're not gonna help you get anything. So that's the thing, guys. All these people that give you all this advice, they're not really helping you, bro. Just telling you to do something that they can't do themselves. Now, if they're doing what they're doing, whatever, who cares? It's their life. Bro, this website will not load. I don't know exactly why. But it's perfectly fine. What the heck? I haven't watched this shit in a minute. I want to see what he thinks about all this.
These like powerful billionaire guys, their names were redacted. Why would your name be redacted if you're not a victim? Like, this is what's crazy about all this. The day he was indicted in 2018, the very next day he ordered 330 gallons of sulfuric acid.
There were some horrifying revelations in the recent Epstein Files disclosures, and that's what Joe Rogan is talking about here, including Epstein's decision to order lots of sulfuric acid, not the day after, but the day of the DOJ indictment against him the second time in 2018, and also the over-redactions, the duplicitous execution of a campaign to hide prominent people in a document that said co-conspirators, including the name Les Wexner, which was unredacted everywhere else, while trying to sell us the tale that, hey, they just did that by coincidence. They just happened to redact it accidentally in the co-conspirator stock. Let's see what he has to say about this. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel.
Who knows what fucking happens with all this Epstein file shit? It just keeps getting crazier and crazier and crazier and deeper and deeper. And so Rokana and Massey just released the names of
Hey guys, look at America, bro. Look at America. Why they use a snake as the 13 colonies? Think about that for a second.
these guys that had been redacted from the list, and one of them is Lex what is his last name? Les Wexner, right? Who's the CEO of Victoria's Secrets. Is he the CEO or the owner?
Former CEO, but
Former
Both.
former owner, CEO of Victoria's Secrets. He's being named as a co-conspirator
What?
now. Yes. Yeah. So he's being named along with Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. Because he runs this modeling, Victoria's Secrets,
Right.
hot girls, the whole deal. Somehow or another, he's involved in this, and they had redacted his name up until now,
Pretty
right?
sure. Yeah. Well, two things. I don't think anybody. His existence as a co-conspirator isn't.
Hey, let's get to. Well, actually, we need to see it. That's not what I'm trying to see.
In the document that says co-conspirators, a DOJ doc, an FBI doc that says that. And Pam Bondi had no excuse for that on the stand of testimony to a congressional committee, I think the Oversight Committee, the other day. So we're supposed to have no problem with this and their narrative that says that there's no evidence that there's sex trafficking, that there are co-conspirators, etc., when again, the FBI documents show that they thought there were co-conspirators, including Les Wexner, the guy that bequeathed to Epstein hundreds of millions of dollars in property, including his $77 million Manhattan mansion, which was the most valuable one in Manhattan. But inexplicably, there's no explanation for that, essentially.
I think he's the funder of most of it, is what it seems.
What?
Like.
Right.
Well, he
So
was in
people
charge of
knew
this- all
that
this.
there was something going on, but he had gifted Jeffrey Epstein this insane house in Manhattan. So this is like a $60 million house in Manhattan. You know the house where you go into it and you see Bill Clinton in a dress?
Yeah.
You know that picture that we
Yeah,
have out in the
yeah,
lobby?
yeah.
That's from the foyer
Oh,
of his
shit.
house
Right.
that Jeffrey Epstein was gifted by Les Wexner. By the way, Whitney Webb posted on her Twitter about Les Wexner being a sex trafficker, a child sex trafficker in 2020. See if you can find that. Like that crazy chick is right about everything.
The one the lady
She's-
was kidnapped, or she was claimed she was kidnapped. It was in his house in New Albany, or Columbus. Like she claimed she was being held there for, I don't know, 2 weeks or something, like doing art. She called her dad to try to get out of there or something like that.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, that's not, like his involvement isn't like brand new information.
This was in Columbus, Ohio?
Well, New Albany is where that's where his house is. It's the biggest house in Ohio, I think.
Yeah, I think Les Wexner is still the richest man in Ohio. Epstein has had a residency right next door, essentially. Wexner gave him power of attorney and really control over his business empire at L Brands. And the photo they're talking about in the foyer of Epstein's Manhattan mansion is this one. This one right here, which is Clinton in the blue dress. It seems to have multiple theories around this, but the most prevalent one among researchers is, hey, I got this guy in the bag. I have blackmail over him. I have control over him. And we know more about Epstein and Clinton's liaisons in the years following his death, because a guy named Mark Middleton arranged for over a dozen meetings between Epstein and Clinton during This is a Democratic hoax. Pay attention to the bad.
Yeah, man, they're all a part of it, man. I wouldn't say it's Democratic, Republican, they're all a part of it, bro. That's not what it's about, man. Guys, it's 20 minutes. I have no idea what else. I have no idea what else to talk about. I'm not gonna lie, that's it. Like, what else do I gotta say, man? What else do I gotta say? Like, I'm already getting bored. Like, I'm already done with my topic. 20-minute segment now. 20-minute segment. Guys are wide open. Let's look this up real quick.
What I'm about to present to you is some of the most disgusting and depraved stuff I've ever seen in my life. I'm talking evil incarnate. The Epstein files just got way worse, y'all. They keep getting worse. This rabbit hole seems to be never ending. I'm talking about stuff with babies. I'm talking about stuff with the nature of the food these people would eat, hunting parties, potential terrorist attacks and conspiracy theories related to those that are involved, and election interference. We're going down an even deeper rabbit hole than we ever could have imagined. After Pam Bondi's pathetic and disgraceful attempt at a hearing, people started looking into more files and found way more shit than we thought was there. It just keeps getting more and more incriminating as you go down the line. Apparently, and this is false information, might I add, the DOJ released all the files. All the files are out and all the unredacted names are out. The entire list is out. Both of these things are false, by the way. They released a list. They didn't shy away from putting names like Trump on that list. You got Clintons, you got Bidens, you got all sorts of people on here. But people started noticing something very, very interesting about this. Various congressmen saw this and were like, what the hell is this? Are you guys muddying the waters intentionally with names that are irrelevant? Because the DOJ included names that Epstein might have mentioned in passing. I'm talking about names like Marilyn Monroe and Elvis Presley, who he could not have possibly done anything with on an island. Marilyn Monroe, I think she died when Epstein was like a teenager or 9. Elvis Presley, there's some other people that would have been dead. So people are asking, wait, did Pam Bondi just take a list of all the names that were mentioned ever, put them in this list, just for the purposes of saying, hey, some people might have been involved, some people aren't, but you know for a fact there are people mentioned that aren't involved. So you can't look into any of these specific people because not all of these people were involved with Epstein like that. So this is the list. Here you go. But nothing can be done because it's all very blurred and half of them are names that are not relevant and just referenced by Epstein. And nothing's going to be done about the other half, which is the more incriminated one. It's very evident that this is what happened because Pam Bondi put her own name, she put Thomas Massey's name, right? Just as an excuse to say, hey, haha, your name's on this too, and oh, my name's on this too, and we couldn't possibly have done anything with Epstein, so we can't really look at this list. But that's all we have, folks. So, see, nothing to see here. They think they're being smart, and they think they can fool the general public, which, to be honest, there's a lot of people who did get fooled. I think people are being intentionally obtuse, by the way, by believing any of this shit. They even say right above the list, while other individuals are mentioned only in a portion of the document, that on its face is unrelated to the Epstein and Maxwell matters. So, in summary, nothing's going to be done about any of the names of this list because, oh, they're blurred lines everywhere. Not all of them can be accounted for. It's not all relevant to Epstein, so anyways, that's all we have. But funnily enough, there are still some names missing. Some very important names. Conveniently missing, like the Rothschilds. I know for a fact there's at least one member of that family that was in an email with Epstein or an associate. And they were also referenced and mentioned. So why aren't they there? Why isn't Elon Musk's brother there? There are some people missing that clearly were on the emails but aren't there. Interesting. A bunch of fans of this administration, let's just say that, are saying, oh, see, they released all the files. False. False. We have seen 1% of the files, and it's going to be proven in a minute. Trump's been vindicated. How? Who? Where? What? Even if you say, oh, look at all the Democrats on this list, it backfired on them. Trump's name is on the list. Several family members of his are on the list. Nobody has been vindicated or excommunicated as a result of anything that was shown here. And we have a lot of pundits and influencers literally copy-pasting the exact script and spamming it everywhere on social media. Oh, see, they released all the files, nothing was done, Trump's been vindicated. Like, what the hell is this? This is bullshit. AI that's been sus as hell and been playing cover for Elon is fact-checking these people, saying, no, this is just a list of names. They have not released any more files. Pam Bondi has not released shit since her hearing. You have people, both Republicans and Democrats, coming out saying Trump blocked the release of the files. Yes, they're being released right now under his administration because by law it has to be, and even then they're not releasing all of them, and even then they're scrubbing them and redacting the names. Where is common sense? Where's critical thinking? Is it gone? Oh, it's all fake though. It's all fake. All good. Nobody in either party wanted this to be released, to be clear. This goes back decades. Multiple administrations are involved.
But these guys worship parties. Like, it's like nobody's gonna do anything about it. It's like, who cares, bro? All of them are a part of it. So what are we gonna do about it? It's like nobody's gonna do anything. But at the end of the day, there's a spiritual warfare. So we gotta get into a secret place and prayer, fast, call supplication.
That doesn't mean this administration also isn't involved. You fucking idiots. House Representative Nancy Mace is looking into the CIA documents because that's supposed to provide a lot more information. I fully expect her to be killed. Now we're going to go into the crazy conspiracy stuff that the Epstein files have embroiled themselves in, because a lot of people saw some very questionable shit. Specifically in regards to an event that took place September 11th. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to get demonetized, but... So, let me just read. I'm just reading shit, guys. No defamation. So, Ghislaine Maxwell replied to somebody asking if she was interested in being the Shadow Commission on 9/11. The membership list is secret. Ghislaine said, I cannot be on the Shadow Commission. Okay. Somebody sent this to Ghislaine Maxwell saying, where is the real pilot? Notice the date here. And then there's another email with a subject. This is Liev Schreiber. I don't know if this is the actor Liev, because that's the only Liev Schreiber I know. If it is, my lord. No defamation. I'm not saying that is. I really hope it isn't, because I actually like that actor. How are you, Liev? In this email chain with the subject line saying New World Trade Center Building, September 17th, 2001. Another email, the month after, from Ghislaine Maxwell. In the year 2032, a father and his son walk the streets of Lower Manhattan, approaching the site where the WTC used to be in the end of 20th century. The father sighs and comments to think that right here used to be the Twin Towers. The son, not understanding, asks his father, what are the Twin Towers? The father smiles and looks at the son and explains the Twin Towers were two huge buildings that used to be here until 2001, when the Arabs destroyed them. The son looks up to his father and asks, and what are the Arabs? Take that to mean what you will, but I'm going to say there are a lot of references in these emails about what Ghislaine and Jeffrey might have thought about Arabs. And references to eradicating them as a whole. And I'm not saying any of this means anything about those events that took place on that fateful, terrifying day in American history. I'm not saying anything. We know there are a lot of conspiracies related to what really happened that day and who was really behind that. I am not here to talk about that. I'm just reading shit. I'm not making any conclusions. None. This is not evidence of anything. Okay? There's a list of Illuminati families and associates. I don't know who cultivated this list. I don't know where this is from. But Jeffrey Epstein was a member of the Illuminati North American group. I don't know. I don't know. Somehow Epstein is related to every conspiracy known to man. Okay? Here's another weird sus email. So somebody's talking about the school trip. This is, I was planted in the presidential suite overseeing food supply and watching 4 weddings and a funeral. None of us knew what 100 screaming kids would look like. But now we know. My colleagues say that now they finally know the only thing that can overpower my voice, 100 screaming kids. We almost lost a kid this time, coming back from redacted. Could it be Zorro's ranch? Could it be an island? Could it be the White House? Could it be... Who knows? Late at night, a kid needed to do some personal business and the bus stopped in the desert. Sounds like they were going on a ranch somewhere. The kid got out and went to a ditch. The bus took off. Luckily, a bus behind stopped. That would just not have looked good on the front page of New York Times. The acceptance rate would not be 100% as it currently is. I don't know what this is or what this means. A lot of people have, you know, laid out conspiracies about, missing kids in a ranch in the middle of the desert. Who knows? I'm just reading shit that sounds sus. This TikToker looked into the Epstein files and found another thing that was interesting. Epstein talks a lot about a specific chemical within something called trumpet plants, which are very toxic, okay? He talks a lot about them and references to using them. The chemicals in trumpet plants have been historically and criminally used to incapacitate people and alter their mental state in a form of control. These plants contain high concentrations of potent toxins that can basically turn people into a controllable zombie. It would be very useful if you're Epstein and you really want a bunch of kids to lay down for you a little bit. Do some things for you. In fact, there are videos with Epstein and kids where the kids do look like they're in a daze, some of them. Soon people won't be able to make new humans, but I guess that would be La La Land great. We can just design them in a lab. There's a lot of talk about human cloning, genetic experiments. Remember, Epstein apparently wanted to create a whole new human race with his own DNA. There are references to a full-fledged sterilization plan for the human populace. Jeffrey Epstein's butler was caught in an FBI sting in 2009 trying to sell the client and victim list. He had a list of clients for Epstein with victims. He detailed the entire operation. The FBI did nothing. He gave them a whole black book. This 97-page book was made public in 2015, contained over 1,500 names linked to Epstein's network. The FBI didn't do shit with this, I guess. This guy was eventually arrested, charged with obstruction of justice, held in 18 months in prison, and then he was found dead later. I think he died of, was it some kind of cancer? Regardless, who knows what really killed him? But anyways, now we get to the whoops angles. Epstein would love to use this word in response to things. A certain girl was R-worded when she was 18. Anna just told me today. Jeffrey replying, whoops. RFK's wife was found dead in her backyard. Jeffrey Epstein, whoops. And this is very similar to that one Jesus email that a lot of people went off about. A girl said she felt God's presence next to her when she was in bed. She knows that Jesus watches over her and he helped save her life. Haha, whoops. Guess God wasn't in her bed. Guess who else was? Dr. Mehmet Oz, now the administrator for Medicare and Medicaid services, invited Epstein for a Valentine's Day party 8 years after he was registered as a sex offender. Ha! Whoops! Didn't know! Leon Black apparently was accused of abusing multiple kids, one of them being a 16-year-old autistic kid who had... intellectually, he was like 12 or 11. Haha! Whoops! Leon Black has been accused of many things, by the way. He's heavily indicted in these Epstein files. Somebody needs to look into him. The person who sent that email saying, "Thank you for a fun night, your littlest girl was a little naughty," was Susan Hamlin. Remember, The Sun did a story about her grooming a teen girl. And I think Susan Hamlin won the libel case against them. But now this shit's coming out, so kind of... I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything about her. Susan Hamlin is a financial advisor and founder of the adoption agency Kids to Families. If she did send that email, not a good thing to send. Not a great look, especially if you are a founder of this. And also, Epstein ordered a fuck ton of sulfuric acid. Who knows what that could have been used for? There's a lot of evidence he probably wanted to cover up, too, because there are also reports of dead bodies found in his ranch, so... now we get to the filth, the degeneracy of this rabbit hole. The worst shit ever.
Wasn't even
now, I
the
gotta be
filth.
very careful here, because YouTube has been demonetizing a lot of my Epstein videos recently. They've been coming after me, and they're not even giving it a chance to have an appeal yet, so... we're going to get into this, right? There's emails in which they are talking, him talking to a redacted person, I wonder who it could be, about 14 to 15-year-olds being of reproductive age. Therefore, am I a pervert because I think they can be banged and stuff like that? So there's talk about that. Now, I've seen a lot of people on the internet use these talking points. Very, very sus. But it gets even worse. John Brockman. You missed the big event on Saturday. A party with a dozen beautiful East Side girls. Well, a dozen one-year-olds. Fuck. This guy's a prominent American literary agent specializing in scientific literature. That's not the only person in the scientific community that Epstein would have a connection to and talk to about weird stuff. Another email where there's again a reference to babies being birthed for black market use. Epstein would have women become human incubators for him to have babies that he can turn into designer babies for experimentation purposes. And God knows what else. There is a poem of a trauma victim where she talks about her experiences with Epstein and Maxwell. She talks about how there was a doctor from Israel who came to transfuse, talk about blood from kids, and references to blood from people a lot in these files. And this is a film producer, by the way, who said this. Barry Joff that had me fuming. Mark Trameau sent Epstein did not have a son. There was no wife of his. He had human incubators giving him kids, and this professor was giving him advice on how to make kids suck on. Had these babies taken or whatever. But there's a petition online to get him fired from his job. Now I'm not saying you link to this people what it is. I can't even talk about it, but it's a bunch of men for shit. And guess what? They're all N-words. There is one line saying, guess what? They're all N-words. Some girls dress to hunt for guys. Karnia dresses to some. She looks when she's going out. Weird conversation on text. He didn't just cause heartburn. He ate them. Yeah, I don't like. There's a lot of code names for food. At least people theorize as much. Babies and cream cheese was literally in an email referenced, talking about baby. This picture was in the Epstein files, apparently, of meat. We don't know what it is. People noted this. Why was it deleted? What's in that? What is that meat? Who knows? Right. Again, that TikToker went into the Epstein files. I need to be very careful with this picture. They found a picture of this dude who is, I think, ACO or connected to JP Morgan. And this isn't the first weird painting you would find in a Epstein file. Listen, he's had a picture of Bill Clinton in a dress in his house, okay? That's this guy. Otherwise known as Jess Staley. This is a weird, perverted looking picture of Jess Staley with the picture of Snow White behind him. Alright? Look at this email between him and Epstein. That was fun. Say hi to Snow White. I think Epstein's saying, what character would you like next?
What?
My only question would be, and look at the connections Epstein has to people high up in all these corporations and companies, y'all. All degenerates. My only question is, who is the poor Snow White? Who is being role-played to death? And that Jesus message, that Jesus email that I told you about, some people suggested that that was also a form of religious, unholy roleplay. Now, let's talk about the political influence very quickly, okay? So, an envoy to Turkey sent him child photos, apparently. Send photos of you and child make me smile. Jeffrey sent that to... Connection was senior advisor to Trump to dealings with. Jeffrey Epstein literally told Bill Gates that the new administration people are visiting, administration... Okay. So they're all involved. Also, Stephen Harper, once a leader of Canada, was given $1 million in an account in the financial statements when they looked into the Epstein files. Harper and Associates, which is, I think, confirmed to be an account of Harper's, he was given $1 million by Epstein. There's so much more that I didn't get to cover. This video is already getting too long. It's about to be 30 minutes long. There's so much more. I'll probably cover it the rest in another video, and there's more coming out every day. This is the problem. Every time I go on Twitter, people have unearthed a new file. And I always have to fact check them because a lot of people can bullshit. AI is being used left and right? But a lot of it you can cross-reference with the DOJ's own website. Plus Jmail. CoffeeZilla and a couple of people came up with Jmail. There's so much more, guys. Now, I think Pam Bondi said this. Somebody said this, and it's been memed on social media. If we prosecute everyone in these files, the whole system will crash. Good. Let it crash and burn. That's not an excuse. That's not an excuse to allow and let go what occurred, what happened to these kids, to all these victims. This is satanic and evil and pathetic. And the fact that this administration is covering this up is pathetic. These two need to resign. These need to be locked up. They need to be locked up, in my opinion. No defamation. But by every single confine of the law, they need to be locked up. They have lied
I don't even know what that,
on
that
oath
even is.
so many times. Let's trace the lie
forget about it.
rabbit hole, okay? First, all of these guys rallied to get the files out before getting elected. Okay? They were like, yeah, we need to release Epstein files. The Democrats don't want to see that, right? Then when they got in, the DOJ did their release. I said this in my last few videos, and I've gotten a lot of emails of people interested, and I'm going to reply to them all. I am starting a secret society of vigilantes. I know me saying it doesn't make it secret anymore, but I'm starting it because we can't... I don't like the idea that there's a specific group of people who have different rules applied to them than us, and we're still supposed to be good citizens, pay our taxes and all that while they're doing all this weird shit. Evil shit. So, the purpose of this group is to help victims, expose crimes, and bring people like this on these files into the light, and keep powerful figures accountable. They need to be punished. We're trying to do this all. We're not trying to commit any crimes here. Now, for those of you who have emailed and are interested, we accept everybody. We will have a vetting process. Okay, we can't just invite anyone to this. You need to have this vetted. Can't have a gang of nut jobs going crazy, right? Right now, we are looking specifically for people with legal expertise, whether you're in law or are a lawyer, or maybe you have connections to law enforcement, whatever. Private investigation, you've had some experience there, or journalism. You have social media experience, because obviously any kind of movement like this needs to know how to grow online to have the most exposure. And somebody in cybersecurity, people with cybersecurity knowledge. These are the people we're looking for. All right. Even if you don't have skills like this, you're welcome to join. Obviously, a movement needs numbers behind it, right? But we do need people like this. You just
Yeah, he's making a group of vigilantes. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, man, this is. Yeah, it's messed up. And one last thing I want to talk about is now they're starting to push out all the MLB tech, like with Discord. Now they're trying to force you to use a face scan, so now I uninstall TikTok. I mean, so now I uninstall Discord off of all of my devices. Of course, Activision got exposed in the Epstein files for, for creating microtransactions. Activision Blizzard, the guys who created Call of Duty. So they purposely made microtransactions to enslave kids. Just like what I've talked about with Fortnite, how they're enslaving kids through various means. That's an old video, though. You could look that up for yourself in the live stream playlist. I made that video like half a year ago or something like that. And yeah, man, it just proves my point more, man. The fact it's a fact. It proves my fact even more. Yeah, man. It is dark. Again, our hope is Jesus Christ. And at the end of the day, those who endure to the end, the same shall be saved. Because endurance produces, because suffering produces endurance. Endurance produces character, and character produces hope. So, guys, wake up, arise. Whoa. Bro, what is that? All I see are like 3 asterisks. Is that supposed to be like a word? And anyways, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, guys, all we gotta do here, we gotta wake up, arise from thy sleep. We gotta be in the Word. We're gonna be in prayer. Really gotta do this stuff because the end is here. We got a lot to get into. We got a lot of work to do, and job's not done. So yeah, there'll be second live stream today. This